Hello, welcome back. Welcome back. I'm John, an old YouTuber. So it's more than 2 months ago I had read more of this PDF. But I did take a break and I did drive American Truck Simulator. Then I did start to play an online game called Intel Universe. Then I had a long hot summer. It's still very hot. It's like 30 degrees every day. But I made a lot of video yesterday, like 30 videos about Intel CPUs. Then of course I'm looking on the Danish second-hand papers called the blue papers. That's like the yellow papers. This is where you can buy second-hand stuff from private people. They're selling like old computers, old motherboards and old Intel CPUs. This is where I got this. So did you look at all my CPUs last night, and I was looking, I like to buy an old desktop PC desktop computer. Many of this old desktop, they're kind of Pentium, because this Pentium brand is like 30 years old. I think the first Pentium was out in 1993. That's next year, that's 30 years. And Intel, they still make the Pentium. They still have the Intel Core brand and the Pentium. So, but that's like 3 months ago I did download all my PDF. I still have all the papers there. So I will make an update later. But I did sleep very late tonight, like 3 AM in the night. So I just like to get started with my read list. So I made a new kind of Pentium read list, because I like to read more of this PDF. I still have more than 1,000 PDF. I have downloads. I have it on my computer. So, but I need to go back this video looking at PC gamer hardware. That's about the PC computers and PC hardware. But I like to read something else than that. I read a lot about Canada and United States and stuff. I like to read all kind of other stuff, but mainly it should be about the computer and PC computer hardware. So let's get back on track. But I did spend a little bit more than half an hour last night to update my PDF download. This is a fresh download, so that's Pentium. Pentium, that's from Wikipedia. I did download a Pentium PDF, and that's a famous old Pentium FDIV box, because some of the old Pentiums was not calculating right. Then there's the Pentium 1, the first original Pentium, the Pentium 1 after the Intel 84, 86, DX, DX2 and DX4. We have the first Pentium. No, you cannot get a patent on numbers like 386 or 8286 and 8486. And this other company, AMD, was copied that name. They was using the same name like Intel to like 84, 86 DX and stuff like that. So then Intel started to use this Pentium name to make copyright. I think Pentium means something about 5. In Greek, that's 5, like a pentagram. It's something like pentagon and pentagram. Pentium is something about 5, number 5 in Latin. I'm not sure, Latin or Greek. That's the original Pentium 1, but that's like in the early 1900s and 90s. Then they have the Pentium Pro, and the Pentium 2 is back to the 1900s. 90s, like 1995 about, but we have this the Windows operating systems. So we have to think where the Windows operating systems get out. We had the Windows 95 was out in year 1995, and Windows 98. So Pentium 2 and 3 is around there, Windows 95 and Windows 98. I think the Pentium 4 is around, or Pentium 3 is about year 2000, not sure, but I have it on, you can read about that. And Pentium M. Then we got some multi-core processors. Then we have got the Pentium D, and we have the Pentium Dual-Core. And then they have another name, I'm not sure if that, we have the Intel Core 2, we got some CPUs calling Dual-Core, I think that's maybe got the old computer, maybe like to buy, it's called Pentium Dual-Core E something. Then they have the Intel Core 2 Duo. So they have all kinds of weird names. And then we have the Windows 10. The Windows 10 was in like year 2015. But before you can run Windows 10 on old CPUs like the Pentium D. But it needs support this SSE2 and something called PAE, Physical Address Extension, and NX bit or Intel XD bit. They need to support that to run the Windows. The Pentium D do that, and the Pentium Dual-Core. And few of this old Pentium 4 do that, but it needs to be a Prescott. It needs to be the Prescott version in 90 nanometer, called Pentium 4F, I think. Pentium 4F or 4M, but I did write it down there. No, it's called Pentium 4F or Model F. Pentium 4 Model F or Pentium 4F. Then a 4E. This Pentium 4E is built on the Prescott core, maybe. Then okay, then you have all the Celerons. And then you have the more cheaper Celerons built on the the Pentium core. And after all this Intel Core 2 and they got the quad core, then they start the Intel Core, the numbers called yes, the Intel Core i3, i5, i7. So, but that's they have now. They have the Intel cores, and then from the 8th generation they got the i9. But I think I have the Intel. I have the Intel web page open. So, but we're not go. Just like to get started. Yes, we have the Intel web page there. Products. Yes, they have the Intel Core brand, the Pentium, Celeron, and Intel items. They're still making this, an Intel Xeon. That's for the server. I don't know much about this Xeon, but that's for kind of servers. That's not for privates. But they still make the Pentium. They make the gold and silver. They are up in number 8000. No, they have the Pentium Gold 8500. They're up. That's for the 12th generation. That's the new. I don't know what the name of the LGA. What slot it is. No, that's to the slot to the new 12th generation. It's just out. Maybe find it what slot number it is. But I just got up my bed, so they're not always right. No, I cannot find it because I'm still sleepy. No, I think that's a slot they call LTA 1700. I'm not sure, but we can find it on the Intel Core. Products, Intel Core i7. Products and desktops. Yes, i7 12700. That's up to 4.9 gigahertz. Let's see, processor number i7 12700. That's for desktop computers. That's a good one. They have 12 cores. They got this new performance cores and efficiency cores. That's new stuff like. And they go up to 4.9 gigahertz. They use a lot of power, 180 watts, and can address like 128 gigabyte of memory. And support the DDR5 memory types, DDR5. Yes, LTA 1700. That's the new, I think that's the new Pentium. It's support that. But that's the Intel i7 is not top of the line. They have the i9. No, let's get back, but I just got up my bed, I'm still very sleepy. No, they got the Intel i9, that's even better. Desktop. Wow, look at that, 5.5 gigahertz, that's crazy. The KS, I don't know what the S is, the K is CPU that's unlocked, and the F have no Intel graphic. The K is the K model, like the i9 12900K, have the built-in Intel graphic, and the KF don't. I don't know what S is. Let's look at that, 5.5 gigahertz, that's crazy. So we are up in more than, but that's only the i9, but that's so expensive. No normal pills cost like more than like $1,000, but that's customer price. If you buy 1,000, that's in bulk of 1,000. That's not retail, that's not price in the shop, that's higher price. 16 cores, 18 performance cores, 8 efficiency cores, maximum frequency 5.5, and you can even overclock that to maybe 6 gigahertz. 30 megabytes cache smart, level 2 cache 14, look at that, base power 1500, maximum 2241, so you need a good power supply. Yes, but now my power, I think something wrong with the battery, so let's get started. I think this camcorder is out of power in like 20 minutes. Because I think the battery got damaged, so that's not so good. But let's get started. Then let's get started. But probably we cannot do show, read loud, activate, and I think I put the 50 something, 56. So read loud, read to end of documents.
Pentium Pentium logos 1993 2003 2003 2006 2006 2009 2009 2013 2015 2020 2020 Present Pentium is a brand used for a series of x86 architecture-compatible microprocessors produced by Intel. The original Pentium was released in 1993. After that, the Pentium 2 and Pentium 3 were released. In their form as of March 2022, Pentium processors are considered entry-level products that Intel rates as 2 stars, 1, 2, meaning that they are above the low-end Atom and Celeron series, but below the faster Intel Core lineup, and Workstation /Server Xeon series. As of 2017, Pentium processors have little more than their name in common with earlier Pentiums, which were Intel's flagship processor for over a decade until the introduction of the Intel Core line in 2006. They are based on both the architecture used in Atom and that of Core processors. In the case of Atom architectures, Pentiums are the highest performance implementations of the architecture. Pentium processors with Core architectures prior to 2017 were distinguished from the faster, higher-end I-series processors by lower clock rates and disabling some features, such as hyper-threading, virtualization and sometimes L3 cache. The name Pentium is originally derived from the Greek word pent, meaning 5, a reference to the prior numeric naming convention of Intel's ATX86 processors. 8086 80486, with the Latin ending ium since the processor would otherwise have been named 80586 using that convention. In 2017, Intel split Pentium into 2 lineups: Pentium Silver, aiming for low-power devices and shares architecture with Atom and Celeron; Pentium Gold, aiming for entry-level desktop and using existing architecture, such as Kaby Lake or Coffee Lake. Contents. Overview. Pentium branded processors: P5 microarchitecture-based Pentium, 6P microarchitecture-based Pentium Pro, Pentium 2, Pentium 3, NetBurst microarchitecture-based Pentium 4, Pentium D, Pentium M microarchitecture-based Pentium M, Pentium Dual-Core, Core microarchitecture-based Pentium Dual-Core, Pentium 2009, Nehalem microarchitecture-based, Sandy Bridge microarchitecture-based, Ivy Bridge microarchitecture-based, Haswell microarchitecture-based, Broadwell microarchitecture-based, Skylake microarchitecture-based, Kaby Lake microarchitecture-based, Coffee Lake microarchitecture-based, Comet Lake microarchitecture-based, Pentium compatible Intel processors. See also. References. Overview. During development, Intel generally identifies processors with code names, such as Prescott, Willamette Coppermine, Katmai, Plymouth, or Deschutes. These usually become widely known, even after the processors are given official names on launch. Brand microarchitecture: desktop, laptop, server. Pentium Overdrive EP5 P5, 0.8 micrometer, P54C, 0.6 micrometer, P54CS, 0.35 micrometer, Pentium MMX. Pentium Overdrive EMX55C, 0.35 micrometer, Tillamook, 0.25 micrometer, Pentium Prop 6 P6, 0.5 micrometer, P6, 0.35 micrometer, Pentium II. Pentium 2 Xeon. Pentium 2 Overdrive. Mobile Pentium II Plymouth, 0.35 micrometer, Deschutes, 0.25 micrometer, Tonga, 0.25 micrometer, Dixon, 0.25 micrometer, Dixon, 0.18 micrometer, Drake, 0.25 micrometer. Pentium III Pentium 3 Xeon Mobile Pentium III Pentium 3